Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Welcome to you all. No mai ki te hui nei, haere mai, haere mai, haere mai. Welcome to this gathering of Te Kete Rongomau. He mea pai te hui hui tātou ki te maumahara o tātou tūpuna. Our gathering is a good thing as we remember our ancestors. Tēnā koutou katoa. Ki ngā mauna whakahi, ki ngā wai tukukiri, ki ngā matawaka o te motu, ka nui te mihi. I greet you to those who connect to the mountains, the rivers, and the oceans across the land. Hello and welcome to you all, our first webinar for the year. So ko au, ko Johnnie Potiki tuku ingoa, ko Auraki tuku moka, ko Waitaki tuku awa, ko Takitimu tuku waka, ko ta oka rawa ko te oku hapu. So welcome to you all, and I will hand over to Sarah to introduce herself in housekeeping.
Kia ora, Johnny, thank you for that. Ko Aotearoa te whenua tupu, ko Cambridge tuku kāinga, ko Ngāti Pākehā tuku tuakere, ko Sarah Gordon tuku ingoa, ko Jack me Harry aku tamariki, here Associate Professor aho ki te whare wānanga o Otago ki Pōneke. So my name is Sarah Gordon. I'm an Associate Professor with the University, the Department of Psychological Medicine, University of Otago, Wellington, working as a service user academic, and I am one of the co-principal investigators with this project. So just before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. The presentations are scheduled one after the other without any time for questions, and there has been time allowed at the end of the whole webinar for questions of the presenters. However, if particular presentations do end early, we will try and get a couple of questions in. So please, if you do have questions and comments, could you please use the Q&A function throughout the symposium today. Please note it is only us as panelists that will be able to see those, and we, in a somewhat controlling manner, will choose any questions or comments that are shared. Please note that the chat and raised hand functions are disabled for general use. Please also be aware that the symposium is being recorded and the transcript will be made available on our website. I'd now like to hand back to Johnny to introduce our first speakers.
And before I do that, Sarah, I will start with a karakia timatanga. Ko te aroha ki runga, ko te aroha ki raro, kia tātou ki te kakino o te aroha. Ka whakatō, ka tipa, ka puawai, ka puta, kia te aora maumara, haumi e, hui e, tai eki here. And so it's my great honour and privilege to introduce Hori rawa ko wi. So Hori, tēnā rā tātou katoa, ko karaoi rawa, ko rangatoto okomona, ko Ngāti Mahanga, ko Ngāti Uru Nu Mia, oku hapu, ko whainga roa, te moana, ko waipa te awa, ko te papa o te rotu, ko pōhakena, ko koti hangatanga, oku marae, he pou a harahi tikanga, wainga te rupu, te kiti pounamu, ko Hori Kingi tuku ingoa. Welcome, Hori, and we, tēnā koe we, tito Huata, whakapunaki me kahuranaki nā muna, wairoa me nā ruruoro nā awa, takitimu pako wai me waipatu nā marae, Nai tama te rangi me nā te hori, nā te hāwea nā hapu, ka hanunu ki Wairua, ka hanunu ki Hiratonga nā iwi, takatimu te waka tapu. We is also co-chair of Te Kete Pounamu, the Māori Lived Experience Group, and Te Koe Raro, Te Pou Māori Advisory Group, and a consumer advisor at the Whatuora Lake. So welcome to you both, and I believe that you're going to give us a background about the beautiful name and process around Te Kete Rongomau, respecting our will and preferences and the philosophy of the mahi. So I'll hand over to you, Hori, Rawakowee.
Ka pai, kia ora tātou. Te mihi tuatahi ki a koe, Johnnie, the kai karakia. And to the rōpū whakahaere i te presentation. Ko kia anō ki te tīmatanga tuia tarangi e tuki o nei. Tuia te papa e tapatoni. Tuia rātou ko wehi atu ki tō tārai, ki te pō uriuri, ki te pō tangotango, ki te pō tiati. E kura tangi hia he mai aroha, koutou haere moi mai ra. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā kārangatanga maha, tēnā rā tātou katoa. As Johnnie has said, we will be trying to answer how the project got its name and look at some examples of connections to the content of the project. So I'm just going to put up my slide. Here's hoping. I'm hoping Windows, Microsoft Edge. Right. Now, all my life I've been a guitar player. I've never been a pianist. And at the moment I'm having to use the skills of a pianist by clicking different buttons while trying to work my way through the slide. So we've just finished our introduction. One of the things I want to say with the first slide is that the three kete that you see will be named through the waiata that we do that makes Te Kete Rongomau. So that's an explanation of the first slide and the hangatanga o te ingoa. We're going to start with a karakia. We and I will sing the karakia. We have a slide that we've put up which will translate the karakia into English. And if you have a look, you will see an explanation of a lot of what we're going to present in both of these ways. So nō reira, kia ora tātou katoa. Ka karakia tātou.
Tēnei au, te hokai nei taku tapu ai. Ko te hokai nuku, ko te hokai rangi, ko te hokai a tō tupuna, a tāne nui a rangi. I peke te ai, ki te rangi tūā, ki te tiki o manono. I roko hina tira, ko i o matua kore anake. I riro i hoaina ke te o te wana, ko te kete tuauri, ko te kete tuatea, ko te kete arorui. Ka tiri tiri a ka paupau ki a papa tuaruku. Ka puta te i re tangata ki te whai au. Ki te ao marama.
Tāpai. O horere katoa e nei. But we'll get there. First of all, I just wanted to explain gifting of a taonga. Taonga is a treasured gift. And there's normally a ritual of the gifting of a taonga. I want to use the example of the pōwhiri process on a marae and the gifting of a taonga there. And I want to explain with regards to the process of that gifting and receiving. And so it involves two people or peoples, is the giver and the receiver. And the actions of the giver basically consist of collecting the taonga at the gate before they actually enter. And that taonga is given to the last speaker on the manuhiri side. When they come through and the last speaker will stand to speak, he will do his whai kōrero, and before he finishes, he will move forward, which is the ritual of going past the halfway mark between his pai and the pai of the haukainga. And he will place the koha down with his right hand. He will then stand up and he will walk backwards back to his pai, finish his whai kōrero, and then he'll sit down. The haukainga, there will be a kaikaranga that will stand up, and she will do a karanga to the koha, and the content of her karanga would be thanking the people, but to lift also the tapu that's placed on that koha. And then she will sit down. There'll be a person off the paipai who will come forward, who will stand up and advance, and he will come. He will bend down and pick it up with his right hand, stand up, and he'll do a gesture with his hands towards the manuhiri. And the gesture basically is a sign of thanks and gratefulness. He will say a few words with regards to the koha, and then he will also walk back and then sit down on the paipai. So that's really the process of when you receive a taonga, the giving of a taonga and the receiving of a taonga. People would think that that's the end of the process. However, in Māoridom, it's never ever forgotten what was laid down on that paipai by the haukainga. And they will always remember what was laid down and who laid it down. So they'll have a fair idea on who's in the crowd. And the reason being is because there's a word called reciprocity. And what happens is that at some stage later on, that haukainga, they will visit the marae, or they will visit places where those people on the manuhiri side, on the visitor side, live, and then they will reciprocate that taonga by giving back to them. And an example, I suppose, is we've gifted the name of the kete, of this kete to Sarah and her group, research group, and in turn they've given us a taonga. Unable to show you, but we will show you that before we finish our slides. So with the taonga, it's really important to remember that there's never an ending to it. It is as it says, although it's small, it is precious. And so the preciousness of that, there's an expectation that it will be looked after accordingly. And I've always said the saying of our ancestors, he tapu tōna mea katoa. Not a direct translation, but one similar, is that there is beauty in everything. But between those two, I think the message is that they need to be respected, or need to be respected. So the gifting of the taonga. I just want to move on to the next slide. Te aho tāhuhu. Te aho tāhuhu is the first line in the weaving of a kete that sets the rest of the pattern, better known as the first weft. So that's the translation of Yaho Tāhuhu. Karanga, I just want to break that down. Karanga is the sacred element of the pōwhiri process on a marae that signifies the beginning of a formal process, the pōwhiri. There can be one or more kai karanga. There can also be more than one karanga. In this case, we've used karanga to demonstrate the first call. And the first call basically went from being Sarah Gordon, who was the principal investigator of this research project, to Phyllis Tangitu. And there were two messages that was given. One was that we are looking for a name for the research project. And the other info that was given that was relevant was the enabling supported decision making. So from that, Phyllis took that information, had a talk with we. That's our karanga tuarua, our second call, and discussed it with we about offering it to we and to Kete Pounamu to name the project. And what came out of there was enabling supported decision making, the establishment of a personal relationship. Those were two of the messages. Now, the third karanga was between we and myself. He gave me a phone call and said, look, as Kete Pounamu, did we want to do this? And from there, what the message I got was that advanced preference statement. And so we needed to connect all of those together. Okay, so once we got that, my first, when I first talked to we, my thinking automatically went back to the timatanga or te ahau o te rangi, the very beginnings or the creation. And then my thinking comes forward from there. And the first thought I had was looking at the 12 heavens. But in 10 of those heavens that we know of, and I'm talking about the kauwairunga of within Māori, and the kauwairunga, I suppose, is similar to a Bible in the English language. However, the kauwairunga has 12 heavens. So my thinking went to the first 10 heavens. And within those heavens, there are kaitiaki, guardians, and the guardians, their names were Apa Kuratani, Apa Kurawahine. So there was a female and a male element to those guardians, and they protected those rangi. And so I left it there for a little while and waited for magic to happen. It didn't happen, so we and I had another discussion. And within that discussion was a karakia. And then from there, I put it out to the universe, and allowing the universe to guide and try and make a connection. And we didn't with that first lot of thinking that I had. So that had to change. When we changed the thinking and we got the connection, then there was, when you get a connection from the universe, it's like a download. You know, it's like having a computer 000000000000001, and that basically goes back to the creator. And the download came down through him, and the magic started to happen. A few things that came out was that we needed protection. We needed to look at Māori values and principles, and we also needed to look at how to come up with rules of engagement, if I could use that message. So the message was an agreement that we will hold persons' integrity, an agreement that will hold a person's integrity and dignity while in a wairangi state. Wairangi basically is a person who has fluidity throughout those rangis that I talk about, and are not always of this world. So we needed a kaitiaki or peace aroha rangi Māori a humari, nākou mahaki, whakiiti, tūohu, maungarongo, manaki. So aroha love, rangi Māori, to do it peacefully. A humariri is humility. Nāko mahaki is having a a loving heart. Whakiuti is to um, be able to know that sometimes it hurts in a discussion, but to be able to put that aside and carry on with the discussion being the main focus until you get some sort of an agreement. Tohu tuohu is to bow yourself to the mountain or to the kaupapa. Maungarongo is about peace on earth. And manaki, of course, is caring for people. So we need to describe the content, the holistic well-being of a person. The holistic well-being is all the elements that Mason Jury talks about in his whare tapawha, but with the addition of one more, which is the taiao, the environment in which a person lives in. So from there, we also needed a vehicle. And the vehicle, we had plenty of choices, and I'll go to the next slide to probably explain that. We needed to name the settlement and the agreement. So that was the moimoia, that was the download from the universe. And although it's all a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle, trying to put a jigsaw puzzle together and where parts fit. So from there, the reflections, I needed to go back, and then I needed to connect the downloads that we received, and look at the first email that was sent to us, and look at the relevant information, and try and connect them together. And so there was three elements that were required: was guidelines, a content or the content of the document, and a carrier. So the rules of engagement, guidelines, we looked at tikanga, protocols and rituals, doing it in a loving way, with goodwill. We were asked to champion tangata whai ora as experts by experience, self-determination, and there needed to be agreement with others involved. I'm talking about the professional practitioners, from the psychiatrists, social workers, nurses, everyone that had anything to do with putting this document together. We had to hold fast to Māori autonomy and power, and connecting the professional people, but never ever forgetting the whānau, of course. So the content was the directive, looking at the mental wellness, the physical wellness, te taha wairua, taha hinengaro, taha tinana, te taha taiao, taha whānau, connecting to whānau hapu iwi hāpuri in one's environment. The carrier, a carrier can be a kete, it can be a carving, it can be a greenstone, and it can be some sort of design or poster. But the carrier's job is to actually do that, is to carry the content that was being put together. So from there, when we look at put it all together, and we came up, we looked at the carrier and decided on the kete being the carrier, the rules of engagement, kaitiaki of peace, the whare tūpuna of the whare kai. We looked at rongo mātāne, in short, rongo. And we also then looked at, okay, so what do we need for the content of the document? The holistic well-being of a person. And we looked at mo. And the mo really is about, although is about bringing all the holistic well-being elements into it as the content of the document. And so the name that we handed over was to Kete Rongomau, translated advanced preference and statement. Rongo has a whakapapa. Again, it'll be in a waiata that we will sing. And it starts with io, io nui, io ro, io te matau, io te matua, io take take, io wānanga, io tiki tiki i te rangi. Ko rangi nui, Sky Father, Papa Tuanuku, Earth Mother, and her children, Tāne Mahuta Tangaro Rongomatani. So Rongomatani was one of the children of Rangi and Papa. In short, that's a short whakapapa to explain where rongo comes from and the taonga of rongo. So for us whānau, that's basically the explanation of the creation of the name. What I want to do is hand over some time to we, and we is now going to make some connections with regards to the naming and the content of this project. No reira, kia ora tātou.
Kia ora koutou. E kore au e ngaro, he kākano I rui a mai I rangi Aotea. I will never be lost because I come from a place of the gods. Koina te aratika, or the pathway that is right. So we have the right to be treated with respect, the right to freedom from coercion, harassment, and discrimination, right to dignity and independence, the right to services of an appropriate standard, the right to effective communication, the right to be fully informed, the right to make an informed choice and give informed consent, the right to support, rights and respect of teaching and research, and the right to complain. Then we have our human rights, the right to autonomy, the right to life and liberty, the right to be equal before the law and not be discriminated against, the right not to be tortured or subjected to cruel treatment, and the right to good health. Advance preferences convey your wishes, should you not be able to speak for yourself. For example, if you're unconscious or unwell and decisions need to be made. It allows you to indicate what sort of treatment you prefer and what treatments or situations you would not give your consent to. While you may wish to refuse medical treatment, which is a right under the Code of Health and Disability Services Consumer Rights, the doctors following your preferences must act within the law. They need to be assured that you were competent to make the decisions at the time, that you were sufficiently informed, that you were not being pressured. They will also need to establish whether the preference applies to the situation at hand. Hence, one must understand the importance of making a written, dated, and signed directive, even though it is not compulsory. Frequently reviewing it and regularly discussing it with those closest to you. It's not who is right, it's what is right. You win or lose by the way you choose. Having advanced preferences is a conscious decision to achieve mauri ora. Oranga tinana, oranga hiningaro, oranga wairua, and oranga whānau. Mauri ora means the maximum health and well-being for whānau, whaiora, and their whānau. Mauri refers to the life force that all individuals have, and ora refers to wellness. In essence, mauri ora is the wellness of our life force. Conversations with our whānau, whaiora, and their whānau talked of their aspirations that services had to look at more than mental illness and focus on all aspects of a person which contribute to their well-being, moving from mauri noho, languishing, to mauri ora, flourishing. We use whakatauki, wise words or proverbs to carry our messages across. Some go like this, and I'll ask my friend to translate them. Ka puteruha, ka hao te rangatahi.
When the old net is worn, the new net comes into service.
Ma te atu he toa, aramaira he toa.
When one warrior passes away, another great warrior will replace it.
He tōtara wāhi rua, he kai na te toki.
A split log is food only for the adze. So kotahitanga and working together is the ultimate.
He hara taku toa, hi te toa takitahi, engari taku toa, he toa takitiri.
My achievements are not of my making, but are the making of many people.
O tirawa, o tirawa.
It is done, it is completed, it is finished. Is the recovery, the restoration.
Heyo, 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 heyo. Io nui, io roa, io te mataho, io te matua, io take take, io wānanga, io teke teke, I te rangi. Rangi nui, papa tu aruku. Are mahuta tangaroa, rongomatane, humi e tike, tike, tumatohenga. Rua mokota piri matea, pai tiri rehua piro. Io rui, io roa, io te mataho, io te matua, io take take, io wānang, io tiki tiki te rangi. Rangi rui, papa tu aruku. E korea, e ngaro, e kakaru, e kakaru, e re re a mai, e rangi a te a. Ngā puteru ha, ngā te rangatahi. Hau, hau, hau e ha. Ma te atu he toa, ara mai ra he toa. Hau, hau, hau e ha. He rotara wahirua, he kaina te tohi e. Ko tēnei te wero a te tai aha e. E hara taku toa I te toa takitahi. Engari taku toa he toa takitini. He tō tāta wahirua, he kaira te tōti e. Ko tēnei te wero a te tai aha e hara taku toa I te toa tahi tahi. He ngāri taku toa he toa taki tene. O tiraua, o tiraua, na paka oranga.
Puna tātātou nei whakaata.
And we can't hear you, Hori.
Kasi kia ora, hui mai anō tātou. Ako te tūmanako ko oti tā mātou nei whakapuake I tēnei wā. Reira, ko te tūmanako kia pai o koutou nā rā whai muri ake o tēnei. Ko reira, ko te kara kia whakamutunga mō tātou ko tēnei kia hora te marino, kia whakapapa pauna me tia te mana, kia tere te kārohi rohi. Whakawātia. Kei runga e rangi, iri ake ki runga tūturu o whiti whakamaua kia tēnā. Au me hui e. Tai. Kia ora tātou. Oh, when we talk about reciprocity, this was our reciprocity for the gift of the name that we received a kite for ourselves. Nā mihi atu nei kia koutou Sarah, koutou te rōpū. Nā reira, ka nui te mihi kia koutou. Kia ora tātou katoa.
Sorry, Johnny, we can't hear you.
Ngā mihi we, rawa ko Hori. What a beautiful name you've gifted us, and a lot of thought has gone into it, and it's something that we're going to treasure over the next 3 years. And that was an extraordinary good presentation. Thank you so much. And the Waiata brings back a lot of memories from me from my early days. And thank you for that wonderful gift to us. So I just wonder if there's anybody would like to ask any questions in the Q&A to Hori or to we, and they may be able to answer some of those questions. We'll give it another moment and see if somebody's come up with a question. If not, I think we... Sorry, Sarah.
Oh, Johnny. Or maybe a comment? Somebody would like to share a comment? I'd like to comment just to say thank you so much once again. It is I could just listen to that presentation again and again, because it just always emphasizes to me the incredible value of your gift, and how it pulls together so many elements that are important to, particularly to Waiora, in terms of this project. And I can assure you that it's absolutely treasured and treated with the utmost respect by all of us involved with the project.
I think if there's no questions, I think thank you so much once again. We and Hori and Sarah we will move ahead with a presentation from Giles, I think. Be well, my friends.